Welcome to the Blueprints Podcast. I'm Isabelle Broidegem, Director of Sales and Marketing at Custom Built Design Remodeling, and I am joined by Michael Flory, founder, CEO, and of course, last but not least, my dad. And excited to be here with you today on another episode where we talk about marketing and specifically the growth that we've had since the start of Custom Built.
All things marketing today.
I know, all things marketing. Yeah, and you're recovering from a little cold, so you got an extra deep voice today.
Yeah.
But you're here.
I'm here.
Well, where did we start with marketing when you think all the way back to Custom Built day one?
Yeah, so this was really like my second company, starting this company. And I had a lot of frustrations with the first company because we couldn't really land on a logo, and we kind of did it some early online stuff. This is back in the early 2000s. And I mean, we ended up with a logo that I liked, but I just thought, man, it'd be really nice when we start the new company. And so we ended up meeting with a marketing company. I met a guy who was kind of a creative. It was part of a larger marketing company. And he kind of interviewed me and found out my passions, what we were all about, and then kind of came back with a couple of options. And he really he tied in our background, that we're from Ireland, and with the CV logo and kind of our faith,
the 3-leaf clover,
the Trinity, and the whole 9 yards. So Dan pulled this together. I wish I could find Dan. Dan, if you're out there, if you're watching this podcast, you were
reach out.
Yeah, reach out to us, because I don't even know his last name, but he worked at the marketing thing, and then he went to Chicago or Detroit after that. But he's really talented and put together a beautiful logo. And so to me, that was like the best money that I ever spent. It was, and at the time it seemed like a lot of money, but it was worth it.
Well, and this morning you were telling me a story about with your first company, how you were working on the signs and you would stay up till midnight, painting the frames of the sign. And you guys put these, I would imagine them be yard signs or large logo signs, but you did a lot of that work yourself.
Yeah. Not only did we come up with the logo ourselves, but we actually built the signs ourselves, and we did everything ourselves, which led to a lot of hours, and you don't have to pay anybody to do it. But
right. But I think with Custom Built, it was you went in with this fresh perspective of okay, I want to hire a creative to come in and really use their skill set.
Yeah.
Give them an opportunity, right? And the business to business collaboration there is super cool. And so
I just knew that I wanted our logo at the very beginning to be something that was very professional. I wanted to have trucks that had logos on it. Back in the mid 2000s, there wasn't a lot of design, build, remodeling. This was pre-Great Recession. And so remodelers kind of were looked at as just one man crews, 2 man and a hammer kind of a thing. And there wasn't a lot of remodeling companies, and there was nobody that's even close to the size that our company is now. But I just wanted to have that professional image. And Custom Built, we still don't wrap our vehicles because our logo looks so good on a white vehicle.
Yeah.
That it's so clean and neat, and
it's a classic, crisp look that we've kept over the years.
And I like that about marketing. I like things to be clean. I like the Apple feel. That just makes me happy. Absolutely,
clarity.
Yeah,
that's key. So that's where you started to create the brand a little bit. And then what did marketing look like? I don't even know if I fully know back then, because I was a little bit too young to probably remember. I mean, what did you do to get jobs at that point?
A home show, man. The first home show.
Oh, the home show.
I built the booth. I spent a whole week building that booth all by myself.
We still have the frame of that booth.
We actually just used it up north.
We did.
Yeah.
Well, okay, the deck part, though, has been changed a little bit.
Well, but
your first design had that inlay and...
the front part of it, we did a little addition to it, but the main part of it is still the same structure. I think it's even the same deck boards. So
okay, that's wild.
Yeah, I mean, there's cedar deck boards.
It goes to show you how decking back then. I guess that wasn't that
well,
long.
And how forward thinking I was, to make something last that long. You guys haven't disposed of it yet. And
I have tried.
Yeah.
But it's true. It still looks great.
Yeah. Well, Jonathan's using it up north now. So.
Yep. Okay. So what did it look like back then for you on the marketing side?
Well, I mean, like I said, hired a company right out of the gate. So we had a third-party marketing company that helped us develop our business cards, develop, some brochures that we handed out. And so we just kind of leaned on them for our marketing pieces, primarily word of mouth, repeat business. We're a much smaller company, didn't need as many jobs to kind of keep the engine going. Did a little bit of home shows,
Probably yard signs, I would imagine.
Yeah, yard signs and trucks.
Like repeat
those are
referral business.
That was our big stuff, was the trucks.
Okay.
And the signage. And
did you guys ever get involved in like phone book or do any?
Yeah, the phone book, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a good story about the phone book. We'll save that for a different episode, but stick around. You want to hear that one. Yeah, the phone book. The phone book was still thriving. I just
think of those unique print opportunities that used to actually make an impact.
Yeah, it was pretty bizarre, but like and the thing is, when I first got in business, it was really important to be in the phone book, and there was multiple phone books. You know, there was the main one, the main Lansing one, but then you had surrounding communities that would have like smaller phone books, and so yeah, the sales rep would come in once a year and sit down and sell you the different ads. You had to pick different sizes. So that was, some of the stuff like being involved in schools was a thing back then. We did a little bit of that. But yeah, I'd say the phone book was probably the biggest. And then internet was just, we had
you had a website.
Yep, and all that stuff. So, but
probably
it wasn't like it is now.
Yeah, probably did some Google ads, or maybe not back then when you started.
No? Yeah. I'm sure it was a thing, but it wasn't a thing for us.
So then along the way, one of the big transitions is, I would say, in 2022 when we brought our marketing in-house. But like prior to that, the journey of working with third-party companies along the route or along the way, you got a vision for bringing a team in-house. But let's talk a little bit about that. Like, what was your experience working with third-party marketing companies, and how did that work for Custom Built?
We got results. We got the logos. There's definitely things that worked well. I think in general, they have, 20 other clients, so you're one of 20. And for them to really know our brand was pretty difficult. So if you really wanted to get like an amazing campaign, you had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars with somebody. You could get somebody that would manage everything. Like they could do your TV for you and your radio and contract all that stuff, billboards, companies that have, huge marketing budgets, that's what they did. But what I kind of found and just for us, because we were a niche, on the, design build, what we were kind of going after is a pretty niche market, that they didn't really fully understand what we were trying to do. And so the quality and who the creative was, that was the other thing. So, with marketing companies, if you're working with a company and they got a newer, earlier career person that doesn't fully get who you are, when you were working with Dan before, and now you're working with, Tom, and Tom doesn't fully understand what our brand is and all that. So, I think probably to have success with that would be to have a larger budget and then to be working with somebody for a long period of time. And I think that's where marketing firms do really well for companies. We just didn't have that kind of budget.
Yeah, I would say when they really can understand who you are as a company and who your clients are.
Yeah.
Like those are the big two things. And so it can take time to align on that and for them to really understand.
So I think it'd be kind of fun now because, we brought it in-house. We pretty much do all of our marketing in-house. Like you even created the website, right?
Yeah.
Recreated it?
Yep, recreated it.
Yeah,
we built off of our framework and we brought it from one server to another server, and it's hosted somewhere else now. And
and then you started changing the technology.
Changed the colors on you.
And you got rid of trying to get Microsoft Word.
I'm trying to get that out right now and go to the Google G Suite.
Dropbox. Anyways, so
making a lot of changes on you all of a sudden, huh?
I think the last maybe big commitment I had was I had the website redone, and then, really wasn't totally satisfied. Again, it's like just some of the misses and it needs a lot of refinement and redo. And so you got to communicate that to somebody versus like,
you have to stop the project you're working on, all the things that you have in motion as an owner. It's like everything. And in our business, there's such a physical product, right? So it's like your presence on the job site matters.
Yeah. Oh, and we had a fractional marketing person on staff for a little bit. So for a couple of years, and that worked out. That was probably the best solution we had versus, trying to third party it, because we could pay somebody to be kind of on staff part-time and help us do the marketing stuff. But ultimately, to get the kind of growth that we were looking for, we really needed to have a full-time team doing this at Custom Built. And that's, kind of entering the picture then at that point, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we built our team up since. We started out with just me, and then we quickly transitioned to me a content manager, videographer who was in a dual role. And then now, I should say there was one more transition where for a while our team was me, content manager, videographer. So 2 separate roles. And then over this past summer, I brought on 2 interns. And so, one specializes in social media. The other one was focused on video. So that's been a cool like expansion of our team and a way for us to like, bring early career people into our company as well to learn and grow in the space. And then, most recently we just brought in another videographer. We've got another one, coming on in a few weeks here to start in our team, and then a marketing lead. And so our team is rapidly expanding.
So what's it like working with the founder of the company and happens to be your dad? And from a Colby / print profile, we're very similar in some regards. What's it like? What's some of the rub maybe that you feel in the marketing in the marketing world? And as the company's grown and you've taken on more responsibility and you've brought people into the company, it's no longer like when we first started, it was like me telling, hey, there's HubSpot. Can you go out and figure out how to do this? Let's talk about that. I think that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, talk about what it's like. Well, I mean, first off, it's been really fun because I think you are unique in the fact that you do love sales and marketing. Like it's some of your unique ability.
Yeah.
And it's the role that you've always been in. But you did bring me in to take that over. And I have been able to take that over well. And
you got the title now. Sales and marketing.
That's true.
Sometimes I maybe try to micromanage.
Sometimes you hand me stuff and you're like, hey, do this, but there's no title, which actually I really like. And I would say that's one thing that you do and we've done well as a company is like task, not title. So like get somebody to like understand the task, understand the role. And then it's like, okay, you're ready for the title, like take it on and you can own it.
Right.
So there's some of that transition. But yeah, most recently it's been fun. Because we've had a transition, I would say in the last month of you really re-engaging with marketing.
Yeah.
And it's been spirited, to say the least.
Yeah.
Like, and what I would say about that is, again, you bring a lot of unique skill sets. And then you mentioned we're similar in the way we think and the way we process.
Well, now you've had a lot of success too, right?
Yeah. And I've built, I've kind of built this thing but now we're going to the next level. So it's like the things that I've built, they're not going to sustain us this next level. So some of this process of, all right, well, this isn't working anymore. So we got to tear this down and start something new or build off of what we had before. And you have a great way of like coming in and poking holes in things. Let's be honest,
like what are some of the things that trigger you? We've been talking about trigger reports.
Okay, what are you thinking of? And then I can expound on that.
The areas where I think that, sometimes there's a bit of a rub is maybe how I approach you about things, right? Like it's not so much if I ask questions and I was curious. But
it's not what you say, but how you say it.
How I say it. And as an 8-3 in the print, like I'm kind of a hard charger.
Just to give a little context, print is a motivational assessment. So it's not a personality assessment, but a motivation assessment. And it's something we use within our company to help understand people's best self, their shadow self, and triggers.
And if you want to know more about print, just put in the comments below, just write print and we'll reach out to you and we can.
But you 8-3, which basically the core motivation there is the 3 is to succeed and achieve. And then the 8 part is to be self-reliant.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you kind of come in there and those 2 personality, or I should say motivation assessments, bring a lot of direct energy. So if you're thinking something, you likely will say it. And you'll say it as straightforward and as, pretty direct.
And if you got a lot going on at the time, right? And then I add another thing in there. But one of the things we've implemented over the last month is we do a weekly outside of business hours, and we've just been meeting
Sundays typically.
Yep, and we're able to kind of dive into some of those things and sort of mitigate some of that rub that you have with me.
Okay, I have with you. You mean you have with me?
I think it's kind of interesting. The print assessment is really beautiful and kind of revealing, sort of what your best self looks like and really what happens. And then there's shadow. And it's not like one of them's better or worse. They're both they just are. Mm-hmm. It's just shadow tends to not really help move momentum forward, where it can kind of drain people. And best self typically adds to the team, builds teamwork and all that kind of thing. But you got these triggers, and on some of the other assessments that we've done, we both share in the Colby, we share the quick start. And so we both have this tendency to ideation creation.
You can jump in on something with little information and just make it happen.
And for you and I, that works super well because as the visionary of the company, you play a lot of integrator role for me, even though we don't officially have an integrator at Custom Built right now. Like you are able to kind of jump into that quick start and ideation creation. So when we're flowing together and we're in flow state together, like it's very beautiful. Like right, we're just kind of reading each other's thoughts, but it's interesting, how I see the things that you're doing that maybe are holding you back, but I don't always go about it the best way of like coaching you on that. And so I'm learning that, like, what does it look like to coach you when I see areas where maybe it's holding you back versus coming in and saying, hey, you're doing this wrong.
Well, and I think one of the things in this season is my calendar is pretty packed.
Really?
It's really tight.
I didn't notice that.
I know. I think that's actually one of the things that you and I like have conflict on, because you're like, well, you've got a team now, so your calendar shouldn't be as full. But I'm like, yeah, I have a team now. So like I got to be in ride-alongs and sales appointments and da-da-da-da-da, right? Like as you have a team, like naturally there's going to be things that you're more involved in. But I think that's one of the areas that you really have like gone after challenging me of like, you'll bring an idea or bring like a new task, right? And you'll tell me at like, right, first thing in the morning, hey, I got this going on, which actually I love. Like that's the time when I'm like the most energized. Like I get up early and I'm ready to go by the time you call me at like 7 a.m. And
your Pilates.
Yeah, I do my Pilates first and then I'm ready to go after that. But yeah, I think that's one of the things where you bring in like a new idea or pivot to the plan like last minute. And there's all these pieces going on. Like I've already communicated something with Matthew or, someone else on the team. And then it's like, okay, if we go this new route or this new direction, it's re-communicating and changing what's happening.
That kind of irks you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Just a little bit. But I also am an eternal optimist. And I am somebody who really is like, hey, if you give me a problem or you bring an idea to me, like I don't want to just shut it down and say no.
Right.
My first answer typically is not no. My first answer typically is yes, which is something that you also have been challenging me on a little bit. And you're like, hey, you got to say no to more things.
Right.
But you do like it when I say yes to you though.
Yeah. Well, I like it when it serves the greater good of the company. Yeah. Yeah. It depends on where I'm at. Like if I'm coming to a conversation and I'm in more of a parasympathetic mode where I'm like,
explain that really quick. Cause that you threw out that term and
that's a sympathetic parasympathetic mode. And sympathetic would be like you're triggered and somebody just cut you off
in traffic,
driving down the road. For me, this could put me into sympathetic, real quick. But it's fight or flight mode. It's all or nothing. Freeze. Everybody handles things a little bit different. It could be a lot of things going on. You got a deal that's going the wrong direction. You have maybe sales are down for the team, or
you're not getting your metrics.
Marketing leads have been down, and you're just thinking about those things, and so you're in this state of like granular focus, and you really can't see the big picture anymore. So the forest through the trees, you can't see the forest through the trees. Like that's a phrase that's I think kind of describes the sympathetic state. Parasympathetic is, I think of it like, man, going for a walk in the woods, breathing in the air, and you're just kind of calm and relaxed. Or maybe you're at the coffee shop and you're just kind of you're in a flow state. You're in the now moment. You're in this space right here. You're not thinking about the guy that just cut you off and how you're going to cut him off, or, you're mad at this guy because of X, Y, and Z. And you're like, the guy just probably didn't even mean to cut you off.
He probably was like you eating an avocado and on a Teams call, and then before you know it.
But funny thing about it is a lot of times you get up and it's like a lady that's in her 90s, and she can barely see above the steering wheel, and you're like, I can't get mad at that, And then you really feel like, wow, like I mean, how ridiculous is that, So bottom line is just when we're in a more of a parasympathetic state, we're able to be a lot more creative, open to ideas, versus like if you got a lot going on and I come to you and I kind of drop, or I put a turn in there and don't give you any time to think about it, and I want to process it right now, and you don't have time to process it right now, I think that's where we kind of see some of our rub. Yeah. But as the marketing team's growing here, like I look at it like, I'm here to support you as the integrator of the company, and I'm here to take things off your plate. So to allow you to get into doing the higher level stuff. And then as we're onboarding new people, we got a new videographer that's on, coming on. We have a marketing lead that's coming on. And then Matthew's gotten promoted now. So Matthew's taking on more roles. And so how do we not just add more people, 1+1? It really has to be times, So as we're bringing in more people, the tendency could be that everybody kind of just does a little bit less because, and like in a small business, there's just not opportunity for that, especially for us, because we want to deliver the best product and the best value. And if we're not doing that in the marketplace, I don't care how well our marketing is, if people aren't getting value from us. And so everybody in the company has to love what they're doing, so that kind of gets me excited.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's where you and I have a lot of really good tension. And honestly, like tension is required. I think of a guitar, right? Like you have to have tension on the strings to play music. Like if you don't, it just won't work. Same thing with a piano and a lot of other instruments. So like that tension is what actually creates the music in the end. And so for us, as we're going through this process of, there's a lot of growth right now, there's a lot of opportunities, there's a lot of team change-ups. Like it's really important that you and I take some extra time. So that's why we're doing our Sunday meetings, to like be in that parasympathetic state together, be in that more creative space so that we can continue to bring our best selves and the best of who we are. Because at the end of the day, like, I am your oldest daughter and I do have a lot of tendencies that are very similar to you. Yeah. And you have built this company and we're here 20 years later because of you and the risks you took on. So it's like, I can be a multiplication for you and I already have been.
Right.
And it will but I'll stifle it
if I step in and don't let you, do what you do well for the next, so it's always a balance, and I'm learning to walk that line, but it's super fun to.
It's so fun and dynamic.
Be in this season right now with you and the team. And I mean, we do have a remarkable marketing team.
We do. So for everybody listening, we talked about a lot of different things, our journey here at Custom Built, even our relationship and how you and I work together. What would you say is something they can take away on? What is something you would say that is required when you're going through a season of growth as a team?
I think growth requires change, meaning that as we're growing as a company, it's inevitable that you and I have to change in order to grow. So as the company grows, if the company grows to another revenue dollar, but we don't grow with it, we'll either not be around at some point, won't be relevant, or, somebody else will have to come in and do what we're doing. So I think, and that in general, growth and change creates a little bit of stress. And so a big part of that is just emotional IQ and growing being. And that's what I love about it though, because it puts us in a place. It's like kind of like putting hard on your calendar. Like what's on your calendar? A lot of times I find myself thinking, it'd be really nice if, I was doing this, or I didn't have this, or this client issue. Like when you don't have those hard things on your calendar, write them on your calendar, put hard things that you got to do. And I think when growth, then that's going to kind of set you up for when you go into growth seasons, that you're going to be running into things that are going to stress you out. You've never done before.
Yes.
You got to figure out, I love the 4 C's, making a commitment.
Courage phase.
Yeah. Puts you into courage. Once you're in that courage phase, you made a commitment to something you don't know how to do. Your mind will help you build the capabilities, and then you'll have the confidence phase. And so right now, as we've added all these new people, we're down in this courage stage a lot, and you are experiencing that. And so just awareness is kind of the coach or the leader, that like my team is spread thin. Even though we've added new people, we haven't seen you can't get everything off your plate right away. Although I'm going to push you to get everything off your
Although
plate.
He's like, you should be able to get everything off your plate.
Yeah. And it is. And I mean, it really comes down to how we think about it. If we bring people in and we try to make it easy for them to onboard, and versus like, here's the reality, we're expecting, way more output. And I think of like just even our current videographer, Matthew, and the difference that he made when he came on staff. And, even when we took on YouTube and we took on the show, and we were going to do a show in the field, this has attitude around it. Attitude's everything, like if you don't have all the capabilities, but you have the attitude, I think that's that's really important. So that ties into the change and the growth mindset.